According to the latest United Nations prediction on Nigeria's food crisis, as of June 2026, the UN Food and Agricultural Organization (FAO) and the World Food Programme (WFP) released their hunger hotspots report covering June to November 2026, listing Nigeria as one of the 13 hunger hotspots at highest risk. 35 billion Nigerians are projected to face acute food insecurity during the 2026 lean season of June to August. That makes nearly 1 in 7 people, while 5.8 million of these are in the northern states of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. Now, 3 million children under 5 are projected to suffer life-threatening severe acute malnutrition in 2026, with 1 million of them also in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. 6.4 million children across northwest and northeast Nigeria are also at risk of acute malnutrition this year, with 17 plus million people across 9 conflict-ravaged northern states facing crisis, emergency, or catastrophic hunger. As concerns continue to rise over these grim statistics, Satellite this afternoon on BCOS Oluyole 98.5 FM will be beaming on the topic UN WFP report and concerns over Nigeria's hunger crisis. Yes, that's the topic for Satellite this afternoon. UN WFP reports and concerns over Nigeria's hunger crisis. My guest on the program is a vastly experienced and successful farmer and key stakeholder in the nation's agricultural sector. He is the chairman Oysadep Farmers Oyo State, chairman Nigerian Farmers Development Association, and the chairman Tea and Coffee Growers Association in Oyo State, Alhaji Soliu Imam. Welcome to Satellite, sir.
Thanks so much, sir.
It's good to see you again, Alhaji.
Yes, very nice seeing you.
So Satellite is our regular Thursday afternoon current affairs discussion program on BCOS Oluyole 98.5 FM, where we discuss topical issues affecting our dear country, our nation, and our world. My name is Tola Teriba, your anchor on the program. Now to business, Alhaji Soliu Imam, and I'd like to start with this. That latest UN prediction on Nigeria's food crisis, a June 2026 update covering June to November 2026, and it was released by the Food and Agricultural Organization and the World Food Programme, listing Nigeria as one of the 13 hunger hotspots at highest risk. Now, first, how did we get here in the first place, despite the many elaborate cereal and heavily funded interventions in agriculture and food production by successive governments?
Thank you so much. I'm pleased to be here. I'm privileged. I wonder where you have heavily subscribed or funded project on agriculture by successive government. I don't know how you come about that, but I'm in the business and I should know. Well, I won't say this government or the previous ones have not done one or two things in agriculture, but the fact is that we are simply not doing well. You remember, and I still remember, you were either a director at the other side when you asked me what percentage of annual budget for the country will I suggest, and I said 50%. And everybody, even those who are not were alarmed. But that is the fact. But what I'm saying, and I want to emphasize now, is that we are not doing much in agriculture, and that is a major strength in the world. I mean, agriculture is a major strength. And if we had taken him more seriously than we do now, Nigeria will not be what it is today. And then I'm ashamed that one of the reasons we've been touted to face food shortage and what have you is that our donor agencies are not putting so much onto giving out anymore. So we are not the only ones affected, but we are majorly affected, because I wonder how up to this moment Nigeria will rely on donor agency.
Do we need them to give us what we have?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm ashamed to hear that because donor agencies are not doing much as they were doing before, so Nigeria is one of the reasons Nigeria is facing this crisis. I as a farmer knows that we are in a position first and foremost to produce what we feed ourselves with. Again, we are in position to send so much abroad. Nigeria used to feed almost every part of Africa. And we are known to be almost the food basket of Africa, but now where are we? And it's because we are not doing much. Now, let me say this, and I've said it severally on your program and other media houses, that look, government interventions should be minimal, even in the economy. As a kid, I haven't learned that, I've heard and learned that government has no business in business or whatever. Their own is just policies. Unfortunately, government will put hand there, and our economy policy is another matter entirely. So what I'm saying is that we are not expected where we are today. One of the reasons, of course, security is one, but it's not good enough that we are in this position, and that we are in a position to do better.
You said government has no business in business.
Yes.
A natural food production, is it supposed to be a business or a service, a social service?
Good. It's a business private business for farmers.
Okay.
Of course, that is where farmers will feed their own families too. Production. Look, I'm a production person. I'm so passionate about production. Not only even in agriculture, every aspect of what we need. You remember in those days, our Ankara, we have factories in Lagos here, and I think Ibadan, especially in Kano, Kaduna, where we made our own Ankara. Whatever we were wearing then, a pride of Nigeria, but where we are today, all those factories are closed. Workers laid down and what have you. Again, in agriculture, like I said, what do we eat majorly? Gari, maize, and few other cereals, then tomato, and vegetables generally. We are in position to produce not only for ourselves, but even export. But that we are not doing well. And that's where our problem is.
Alaji, when I mentioned every funded interventions in agriculture, I was thinking as far back as the days of the Green Revolution, Operation Feed the Nation.
Good.
Thinking as far back as those days.
Beautiful. Those were golden days. That is true, but not these days. Look, I say this always. Farmers, any sensible farmer, any serious farmer, we're not waiting for dole-out. And I say, and I've always emphasized, I'm not waiting for government dole-outs. I'm a businessman. I'm into farming to produce and make money, and I do make money. But we are hampered somehow. For example, security. That especially the northeast, northwest, and whatever they are saying now, they are more affected. And we thank glory be to Allah that in the southwest here we are somehow better off. But that's not to say it's coming. Once in a while that which I pray that will never happen again.
It's getting to us too.
It is already. No, not getting. It's gotten to us. But of course, you see how that thing was tackled here. It was unprecedented in the whole country, and that's typically Yoruba. That's typically your act for you, which they cannot copy here.
Okay, we'll still get to the matter of
Right.
food
Security.
production and
All
food
right.
security.
Yeah.
But now that you mentioned Oyo,
Yeah.
I want to ask this. So what has been the bane of continued implementation, replication, and success of agricultural food programs such as the Oyo State Agricultural Development Program, and what factors contributed to its remarkable success at inception?
I'm sure you know there's no ADP anymore, so that is out of the question. What we have now is OSADA. And yes, it's supposed to, but OSADA is more for the Awaladana, that is to get heavy investors into agriculture. Then that is the plan, but it has not mattered as much as I would have loved up to this moment. Now the thinking.
What are the factors?
Good. The thinking is like I said, to attract heavy financiers, heavy investors into agriculture. Then for production, we small-time farmers will be the people will be going for them. Will be going, they will be taking, they will be off-taking, then processing and what have you. I think that is the plan of OSAD generally. But it's a Nigerian factor. Look, when people talk about economy of a country, federal government has a major role to play. And that's why I'm amused. I'm sometimes annoyed when federal government say, we've done so much for state, and politicians especially. In fact, I've been this politician. They now give so much to state. When somebody corner one person, I mean, I'm just giving a hypothetical. When one person corners 53 or 55% of our wealth, and now gave 40 something to 36.
Okay, that cost practice, you are talking about the state level now.
Yes, I'm taking you on a journey.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that, look, states, as far as I'm concerned, federal government has, well, like you expect state or local government to be specific to have to build infrastructure like rural roads, like the ADP was doing in those or OSADEP was doing in those days. You understand? Now those are the things you expect from state government. But heavy funding of agriculture should be done. That's why we have Federal Ministry of Agriculture anyway. Unfortunately, our problem is that 70% of our annual budget are not being implemented. That is the problem we have in the country. Quote me, for the last 3 years, I'm not sure we did up to 50% of our annual budget, so I don't know where the monies are going. So it's not only this thing does not affect agriculture alone, it affects all governments of Nigerian life. You know, let me tell you a story. When the people of not too long ago or up to this moment, people are saying, I say that's a pyrrhic, deceitful thinking. You understand? Because farmer up to this moment, in fact, things of inputs are getting higher, cost of inputs are getting higher.
Okay, let's have this quick break and we'll be back.
Oorun dídùn oorun kún gbogbo ilé, sọ gbogbo oúnjẹ alẹ́ dàláyọ̀ láti jẹ Terra.
Terra kì ṣí ayọ̀ tú ìtọ́wò àdùn sílẹ̀.
Yọ̀gọ̀lù kóró ìsebẹ̀ ti Terra Gold. Kóró ìsebẹ̀ tó báyìí tí o bá fẹ́ ṣe oúnjẹ aládùn ẹ̀ má ṣe iyèméjì ó yára.
Ìtọ́wò tó kí kọ́kọ́ wọ́n wà ní sẹpẹ́ fúrásì ọbẹ̀ àtàdídín àti jọ̀lọ́ọ̀fù aládùn yan àyàn ọlọ́gbọ́n yan góòlù kóró ìsebẹ̀ Terra Gold.
Kóró kan àrà tí ò lópin Terra Gold.
Alright, we're back, and the program is still Searchlight on Oluyole 98.5 FM. And we are discussing UNWFP predictions and concerns over Nigeria's food crisis. My guest is Alhaji Soliu Imam, a vastly experienced farmer, and is the chairman Nigerian Farmers Development Association. Well, before we went on that break, we were talking about the fact that people have been saying that the cost of food items is gradually coming down, and you said that is not the reality.
Yes, I said it is a facade, a pyrrhic reduction we have, because cost of production is still very, very high. For example, in fact, each month you're not sure what you need, especially labor. That's another matter entirely. I mean, the cost of inputs like herbicide, insecticide, fungicide, and what have you, is still as costly as it was to farmers. So if what happened again, if a farmer produces so much, at least there should be some benefit to that effort. But if you say, because we produced so much last year, and there was, as far as I'm concerned, I know there was glut. That was why price crashed.
Oh.
Of course.
Oh.
There was glut. That was what happened. That I was telling you, it was a facade. It was a pyrrhic victory. And no government, as far as the government, should not beat his tail and say they crashed the price of food stuff. No, they didn't. Look, major problem with this country is our currency. In as much as we have foreign currency, nothing could be done to raise our economy. And that is what is happening. That's why we are food insecure. That's why we have insecurity problem. That's why people are hungry. That's why, look, this is the major thing. I am not a doom sayer, but I'm a farmer and a realist. In the sense that if I want to produce food cheap, first of all, I must access funds to do that at cheap cost. Again, my inputs must be cheap too. We are not even talking about cheap. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a seasoned businessman as a farmer. What I'm saying is that, look, if I have demand, I produce. Let somebody buys it. If the person has a fancy of storing or hoarding, let the person do whatever. Even if the person wants to dip that into the blue sea, let him come back and produce more. I will make my money. He can satisfy his fancy. But of course, what we say, what we do in this country is that people need food, and that's very basic. Major problem we have in this country today is because we are simply not producing enough.
Many times I've heard stories about glut and farm produce going to massive waste on farmland,
especially cassava, sometimes maize, and other cereals. Yes. And
sometimes this can be due to inability or hindrances to get the food directly to the markets and the consumers.
One of the problems.
Now,
cost of transportation. Let me help you if that's what you. Cost of transportation is enormous. So where do you now have cheap food? Well, if you carry an handkerchief, the Okada man will charge you like he's going to kill you. Ask him, say, how much do I buy spare parts? How much do I buy fuel? Petrol. So what are we talking about?
Now, and this obviously a major factor crippling food production.
Definitely, and every production, yes, definitely.
And it's not just about a decline in agricultural practice and food cultivation. Now, do you think a food subsidy regime, if there's anything like that, especially on cultivated food coming from the farms, could help? And what should such subsidy look like?
Definitely. In fact, that is where we should be going. That's where we were before. I'm sure you know cocoa houses be through the efforts of farmers. Those were people who were thinking. Those were leaders who were thinking. Now, the subsidy, you say, look, let us produce a social amount. We used to have marketing boards, I'm sure you know. Fortunately, not too long ago, I had an opportunity of we farmers meeting with the Down Commission.
Okay.
And we ran this in that, look, let's have marketing board back so that you buy this thing off us, sell, if we possibly even give to masses free, not even subsidizing. That's the thing we should be thinking about in this country. And like I said, not even the cost. If I have where to sell my produce, I'll produce more. So that we keep on producing, people keep on taking them off us, our produce. That is why this thing is very necessary. And if we have like the marketing, I understand, and it's not been made official. Of course, this is official, but I don't know the format it's taking. Bank of Agric. Okay. I understand I had that over adverts that they want us to bring rice, maize, and cassava. They will be taking them off us. I don't know whether they are going to sell or subsidize. But I'm not too comfortable because I know the antecedents of BOA. I mean, that's a bank that gives agri loan at 14-15%. Where do you that government owned my money is there? In fact, maybe it's up to 12, 17, 18 now. And the best, look, if you want to fund agriculture, it should be maximum of 5%. Yes, say Alhaji Imam say that. Anything above that, we are just wasting people's time, wasting our energy. And again, like I was saying earlier, I don't need government subvention. I don't need dole from anybody. If I get to my bank, I say, look, I have land. This is what I'm producing. Economic of scale, whatever they call it. Give me so much at maximum of 5% interest, so that I'll be able to do the turnover within, and you give me some breathing space to do 1 or 2, 3 productions before I start paying off. But what do you have today? The least you can have is about 20 something, some 30. I'm not even sure somebody who sells salt will gain anything from salt. Talk less or more of agriculture. This is the problem, and we will keep on facing food insecurity as long as we don't know what we are doing in agriculture.
Our program is Searchlight on Oluyole 98.5 FM, and we are discussing UN WFP predictions and concerns over Nigeria's food security. My guest is a seasoned and experienced farmer, Alhaji Soliu Imam. And you can join us on the program. We welcome your questions and your contributions. You can reach us on 070 5555 1985. 070 5555 1985. Right, Alhaji, young people are the future, and of course, they should also form the future of food production. Is there any particular template you, as a vastly experienced farmer, would recommend to get young people more interested in agriculture and food production? And I mean the kind of agribusiness that would emphasize and boost food security, and who should spearhead the awareness and advocacy campaign? Sure.
I'm happy Outside started stuff like that for the youth. And most of the research institutes in the state, I'm talking of Oyo State particularly now, I don't know what federal government has in stock for the young farmers, which and if I don't know, I'm not sure anybody will know, or if they do it will be under me. But what I know is that Oyo State has programs, research institute. In fact, like I won't mention name because you guys may know. There are some programs that a particular research institute, agri research institute, is doing. I think about 3 months or 6 months.
Okay, you mean the IITA?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking of NIHOD.
NIHOD, okay.
IITA too do have a lot of programs. Again, I'm aware there are some federal government programs on agriculture and other stuffs. But that is far in between, like maybe 200 at a time. I know the programs are ongoing because I've been contacted to submit names of interested youths. But, like I was saying of OSIDA, it has a lot of programs. Again, one thing that is not being fully exploited is Farmer Fiscal, owned by Oyo State government. It's one, in fact, the only of its type in this country.
Okay.
And I happen to be the farmers coordinator. I'm saying this because it's one of the best things that, in fact, that's one of the things that made me a seasoned farmer. Again, we do have youth who comes. It's free. We last Wednesday we met. Last Wednesday, next week to a meeting. It's every 2 weeks we meet, and you learn so much about agriculture. The good thing is that, of course, Oyo State government has trainers from its Ministry of Agriculture. That's Extension Services, whom we call specialists. Like you have women in agriculture, in cropping, and what have you. Now we have these trainers from the ministry, but we do have a lot of inputs of training from agri-research in the state. Like friends used to come. In fact, the last time they came to teach us so much about budding, grafting, air layering, which you take 200 and something thousand naira to go and learn. We receive such free. So that's one of the things state government is doing.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Much of what OSIDA is doing seems to be fixated more on value addition to agricultural raw materials for commercial and industrial production rather than emphasis on food production and food security.
I've said it. They are into food production through, like I said, big time investors.
Okay.
I know of about 2 or 3 that's into billions of naira investment in the state today. Yes, producing value addition.
Okay.
Then encouraging small-time farmer in that location, that locality, to key in. That I know. Yes, that's what it's doing. But every farmer would like more. Even if not from OSIDA, any government agency in the state that will look into the major problem of typical peasant farmers, because they are the major food producers anyway.
070-5555-1985. Welcome your questions and contributions, dear listeners, on Searchlight this afternoon. Now, Alhaji, let's go to northern Nigeria. And I want to do a recap of the statistics rolled out at the beginning of this discussion. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization and the World Food Program noted that the hunger crisis is eating northern Nigeria most, and that of 35 million people projected to face acute food insecurity in the 2025 lean season of June to August. The states of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe account for 5.8 million, while 6.4 million children across northwest and northeast Nigeria are at risk of acute malnutrition this year. Now, 17 plus million people across 9 conflict-hit northern states face crisis, emergency, or catastrophic hunger. Now, why am I reading out all these again? The question is, northern Nigeria, despite these heinous food security challenges, still remains the nation's food basket and food lifeline for the rest of the country as we speak. So, how does it add up? And what are your fears for the rest of the nation in the event of further worsening food crisis in that region, or a significant cut in the food supply chain to other parts of the country?
Thank you so much for this question. That's the irony of what we have in the country. In fact, other parts of the country, other parts are supposed to be food basket now, given this, because what is happening in those areas is insecurity, bandit. They are unable to go onto their farms to do what they used to do. It's that time for us to feed them. That's the way thing. I mean, if we are, I don't want to be very hard on us, because we are parts and parts of this system. But we should be our brothers' keepers. Since we have major problems somewhere, we should be able to produce. Federal government. This is why I keep on saying federal government has a lot to do. Oyo State government will not produce food for his citizens and say, please go and give it to Nasarawa or Borno or Yobe. because these are the major areas afflicted. That's Yobe, Borno, and I think Adamawa. Those are the major 3 areas. Now, what I thought federal government would have done or should be doing, especially with this alert from UN, World Food Production, whatever, is that they should encourage, especially the Southwest, to produce more so that we can feed those areas until they are able to overcome their security challenges. This is what we should be doing, and it's not just rocket science. There was a time the current government, federal government, was saying that they have so much money, but now we don't know where the money is, because this money should have been pumped into agriculture so that we produce so much for the country, produce so much for export. Look, coffee alone, I'm the state chairman of coffee. Coffee alone can bring in so much that Nigeria will not be thinking of oil. See what oil is doing to us now. Currently, I bought fuel 1,300. We have deep well, not yet even exploited, and we buy so much. So you see, we should rethink and focus. Probably for the time being, and I used to say about 4 or 5 years should be focused on our production. All the funds must go into production in agriculture for at least 2 years, non-stop. You will see the results. The result Nigeria will be better for that.
But Southwest Nigeria that you mentioned, well, let me just narrow down on Southwest Nigeria. Now, this is a region where education, formal education, is very much cherished. And don't you think this could be the reason young people especially do not seem to be very much interested in agriculture? Do you think the governors have been able to do much to change the mindset of the younger ones that agriculture can go side by side with formal education? The fact that you are a farmer doesn't mean you are not educated, doesn't mean you have to be illiterate, doesn't mean that you cannot know whatever is going on the other side of the world. Don't you think the governors here need to do more, not just Southwest Nigeria, Southern Nigeria as a whole? It's common to say that because they don't go to school, that's why the northern governors are able to convince young people to go into agriculture. That's why they're able to go from door to door to encourage them to take their hoes and cutlasses and go to the farm. So what do you think the southern or southwest governors can do to change this mindset? This is agriculture. Yeah,
this is a very interesting question, and I want to tell you that not only agriculture has that of use, even artisans. Every mechanic want to do Okada now, because that's where you get so much money.
Where the money is.
So it's not a matter of and again, let me say this, is the culture of the north to do farming. No, don't need to go and knock at people's something. That is their major work.
It used to be our culture too. Exactly. The agrarian communities.
Exactly.
The Yorubas.
That's very true. That's very true. Now, this is where I'm going. The use. Education is another thing. Like I said, even the artisan these days will not want to do any. Even the one who a bricklayer, a mechanic, what have you, want to ride Okada now. Illiterate. That it has nothing to do with education. The educated person who have even masters want to go and do washing of dead body in UK. It's not only a matter, like our economy is bad. Tell her, it's BAD. That is the problem, and this we cannot have a way out until we straighten our naira. I'm not saying, fortunately at my age, I knew when naira was stronger than, of course, dollar was so little, so junior to us. We were at par at a time when I was growing up. with the pounds, British pounds. Yes, £1, one naira. Yes. Our problem is that our economy is bad. Look, fortunately these days I'm in position to tell you that because of this farmer field school, we have a lot of youths who are learning how to do farming. But it's far in between because people want to make quick money. You want to either go abroad or you ride Okada to find means of going abroad. Even illiterate. So not only even educated youth. That is the problem of the country at this moment. It is not only agricultural thing. It's every industry. Tell me which factory is producing whatever this day as we are sitting. We used to have lot of factories, lot of we want to work for government before. When industry will be fighting to right from your final paper in university, they'll be fighting to recruit you. But what is happening now? Who has that when factories are closing down?
Okay, I want to go back to what you said about the fact that we are not producing enough.
We are not producing, yes.
But yet we have stories about some of this food being taken out of the country illegally to other and then the Buhari administration, I remember that several trucks were stopped from going out of the country, illicit journeys, taking the food to other parts of Africa and West Africa.
Yes, thank you. I've fielded this several, especially during Buhari time. One of the things he was saying, which I felt very insultive and very unfortunate, that hoarding, and I said, look, I produce, Mr. Teriba, I produce, you pay me, you might want to make my maize your bed. What is my problem with that? What will I do, Teriba? Just tell me what I should do. I'll produce more. Go and use it to fill your toilet. Take it to the charge Kwenebi Atosa. Go and dump them there. Give me more money, I produce. Look, those are Judean excuses. You understand? Well, it's the duty of federal government anyway to secure our border. So whether somebody hoard, whether somebody smuggle, that's not my headache. I don't want to take another for other people's headache. You understand? I'm being very blunt. This thing, we are simply not producing. Like I said, we used to feed almost every part of Africa before. Then what is the problem now? Are the lands not there?
So even that which is not enough is being allowed to go bad on the farms.
Look, what is the ratio? What is the percentage? All these things are, again, like I said, okay, why are we importing? I'm sure you know one of the reasons why we had blood was because maize and this were imported. I'm sure you know that. So what is the big deal in somebody exporting, whether legally or illegally? That is some problem. Again, federal government should man our borders so that people will pay for whatever they want. Let us produce and let people go and sell outside the country. To earn hard currency, yes.
How about the activities of middlemen and the soaring cost of food? I know I've asked you this before.
You did. And what I used to say, middlemen, middle women, traders, they have a part to play. And the part is that they will go around. Of course, some of them have trucks. And I said, and I told you, I've said even today, that one of the problems is transportation of our produce. Because cost of transport is another thing entirely. You may produce at a certain, like if you produce say maize, probably a ton, you use probably 400,000. I'm just giving a figure, 400,000 to produce. You do the harvesting. You want to take it to where you think people look. What I do these days is I sell at my farm gate. Go and bring your truck. No tourenting. Go and bring your truck. If not, now again, what we are doing, we modern farmers, before we produce, we have takers. We have people we are producing for. That is what we are doing now. So I won't do my wahala, and a transporter will take everything off me. You produce at 400,000, transporter will be asking for 390,000. Then what's the need for your wahala? What's the, is that not annoying? That is the problem. I ask us to say, look, we're not like Bokos, yes now.
All right, Binan, we could go on and on. Discussion has been most interesting. Well, unfortunately, the phone lines we still have a problem with the network.
Okay, all right.
Our listeners. All right, we have to wind down, and we've been discussing on Searchlight this afternoon on Oluyole 98.5 FM. The topic has been UNWFP report and concerns over Nigeria's hunger crisis. My guest is a vastly experienced and successful farmer and key stakeholder in the nation's agricultural sector. He is the chairman, Nigerian Farmers Development Association, Oyo State, and the chairman, Tea and Coffee Growers Association in Oyo State, Alhaji Soliu Imam. Thank you for coming, sir.
My pleasure.
All right, next week is another time, and we will be back with another topical issue on Searchlight. Till then, my name is Tola Keliba, your anchor on the program. Bye-bye.
Oluyole FM 98.5.
Why raise the time of the Most High, ye sons of men? The rich man's way in the city, yeah. Destruction of the poor is his poverty.